Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to speak to you about using TBM to thrive in a VUCA environment. The disciplines and tools of technology business management have given the IT function at Stanley Black Decker the edge to perform, whether responding to the demands of a crisis or accelerating innovation and growth. Over the next 15 minutes or so, I'll detail how the IT function not only performs, but thrives in tumultuous times, made possible by relying on the insights from technology business management. But before we begin, I'd like to tell you a little bit about me. I'm Rhonda Gass, and I currently serve as the Vice President and CIO for Stanley Black Decker, a position I've held now for 8 years. Stanley Black Decker is headquartered in New Britain, Connecticut. In my role, I drive a strategic agenda that equips our businesses with the digital, data, and collaboration capabilities required to win and grow in the global marketplace. Prior to Stanley Black Decker, I was a vice president at Dell in Austin, Texas, where I worked for 12 years. My experience there includes positions as a general manager for a product line, as well as positions leading multiple areas in the IT function, such as the IT system supporting Dell's world-class supply chain operations. Prior to Dell, I worked for NCR Corporation in Columbia, South Carolina. There I began as a software developer and progressed to executive leadership roles, primarily in engineering disciplines. I have a bachelor's degree in computer science and a master's degree in business administration from the University of South Carolina. But we are all certainly more than our professional profile. As you might see from the pictures included here, my husband Roy and I love to travel. Well, pre-COVID anyway, and I've included a picture from Thailand and one for Patagonia, Chile. We have 2 grown and married children, and I proudly have 2 granddogs. The little white one is Kaiser, and the handsome brown one is Bert. Now I'd like to tell you a bit more about my company and its purpose. At Stanley Black Decker, we are for those who make the world, for the builders and protectors, for the makers and explorers, for those shaping and reshaping our world through hard work and inspiration. We provide the tools and innovative solutions you can trust to get the job done, and we've been doing that since 1843. We've stood the test of time by delivering value to our customers, to our colleagues, and our communities. We value performance in everything we do, and the IT function is at the core of that performance every day. As you can see, we're a $14.4 billion total revenue business made up of 3 segments. The largest is tools and storage at about $10 billion. You know, this makes us the largest tool company in the world. There are also our industrial businesses at $2.4 billion and the security segment at $2 billion. We trade on the New York Stock Exchange as SWK and have paid a dividend consecutively for 144 years. And we've increased those dividends for the past 53 years. Quite an impressive record. However, we are not only known for top quartile financial performance, but also for innovation and social responsibility. We proudly employ around 61,000 employees on 6 continents. And you know, about half of those employees are considered essential workers. We sell products in over 180 countries. We have 120 manufacturing sites and 150 distribution locations. It's certainly a complex global footprint. But we also have over 14,000 patents, 3,000 engineers designing and developing world-class products and solutions. And I'm sure you will all agree with me that we have an incredible portfolio of brands. Of course, there's Stanley and Black & Decker, but also DeWalt, Craftsman, Irwin, and Lennox, to name a few. Truly an outstanding industry-leading portfolio. So let's review what you'll hear about today. First, VUCA, And what the heck is it? And most importantly, what can you do about it? Next, I hope to convey the importance of a solid IT strategy coupled with rigorous planning. With these two, you can successfully operate and positively contribute to outcomes in good times and in bad. And finally, I'd like to impart my learnings on why TBM is essential to not only surviving as a CIO and a technology function, but also by allowing you to thrive, no matter the business circumstances. Okay, so what is this VUCA? VUCA is a term that was born in the US military. In fact, the US Army War College introduced the concept of VUCA at the end of the Cold War. And it was used to describe what was seen as a more volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous multilateral world. Specifically, VUCA is volatility, an environment where change happens routinely. Uncertainty, and an inability to predict the rate of change. Complexity, which describes a magnitude of forces influencing a decision. And then ambiguity, the ongoing potential of getting it wrong. At the beginning of 2020, we at Stanley Black Decker talked about our plans to manage this crazy VUCA environment we were facing. At the time, we were dealing with unprecedented headwinds to our operating plan. We had $300 million of challenge, to be exact, and it was caused by a combined impact of tariffs and currency fluctuations. Little did we know as we wrapped our January management meeting, action plans in hand, of the new VUCA that lay just around the corner, a global pandemic followed by increasing social unrest. You know, what we immediately found during the onset of this most volatile time was that the IT demand shifted to 4 key things. I've included a reference to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And you may be asking, what does that have to do with anything? But it was during these most volatile of times that the needs of the organization were only 1 month prior would have been described as basic, akin to food, shelter, and safety. We needed to provide things like working from anywhere for our employees, servicing our customers from anywhere, and real importantly, ensuring the safety and security of our employees and our operations. And we needed to enable rapid decision-making, particularly around the return on investment of many of the things we had underway. No longer were we just discussing plans for self-actualization, talking about things like machine learning and AI and how we could impact the business, but rather we were focused on the basic operational needs of the company. And our IT strategy and planning capabilities, along with TBM, served us well as we pivoted. But before I talk about how the strategy and planning enabled our decision-making, it might be helpful to outline how we think about the technology landscape at Stanley Black Decker. As I mentioned earlier, we've been focused on driving innovation as a strategic pillar of the company. Technology, and more specifically digital technology, permeates everything we do, not only in traditional IT, which we term as business technology, but also in our commercial offerings, the digital products and services we sell to our customers. You know, technology also encompasses our efforts on the manufacturing floor to connect and automate our machines for efficiency and effectiveness. So at SBD, we talk about technology as either BT, CT, or OT. And it's important to us because our maturity level and therefore our focus areas differ quite a bit. I've outlined here how we think about the digital landscape at Stanley Black Decker to provide a more detailed context for the scope of TBM in our operations. Pre-COVID-19, our IT strategy was aligned to the strategic foundation of the company, the well-known pillars of performance, innovation, and responsibility. You know, our strategy was clear and still is today. It's all about performance, driving value, innovation, democratizing technology and data, and responsibility, expanding digital risk management. And TBM sits squarely in this first area, performance. It's all about driving sustained value realization. Technology business management, which I've highlighted in the beautiful Apptio orange, enables our businesses and functions to make better decisions by providing insights into the total cost of ownership and that somewhat black box of IT allocations. With the transparency that TBM provides, much better decisions can be made, for example, on whether to increase or decrease service consumption. We can also better evaluate our investments. And all of this is done as business decisions with data provided by the IT organization and not purely in a technology silo. Luckily for us, when crisis struck, we were able to quickly deploy our TBM base to enable a thorough but rapid decision-making for our businesses. So what do we have in place with our TBM implementation? With the Apptio tooling, we have a well-defined industry standard method for allocating IT costs, from the general ledger to a showback bill of IT. And this allows us to promote a deep understanding of the IT costs and the consumption patterns for our business units and functions. We have 80% of our IT spend directly mapped to a business unit or a function, and we're well on our way to accelerating the mapping of that remaining 20%. But as you know, you don't have to have all the TBM data mapped to drive value. 80% is certainly good enough to provide valuable decision-making insights. You know, with TBM, we've significantly improved the information quality, and that has helped us when making complex decisions. For example, around cost-saving actions, we can determine the value of a divestiture or an office closure, or the value of an investment decision. We can compare opportunity A against opportunity B with real, all-in, impactful data. Further, TBM data is driving a focus on IT service utilization and helping us to identify options to lower our cost by reducing consumption or even thinking about alternative solutions. We've also been able to benefit from benchmarking against industry standards so that we can direct our efforts to problem areas. Our goal is a full chargeback of IT costs with full transparency, monthly invoicing, and a full reconciliation to our corporate financial systems. Now, some specifics on how TBM helped us in the first few months of the crisis. First, we got back to basics with portfolio management. We identified the highest priority initiatives across our businesses and solved staffing and funding for those important programs first. We then identified the most in-demand skill areas and closely managed the activities of these resources during our most constrained time periods. What this means is we made certain that time was allocated to the highest priority projects, and we limited discretionary items such as training and administration. We also took action on lower priority work by shifting those to the right to accommodate. Finally, we closely monitored any pop-up demand with a bias to high priority project delivery. We were able to drive down our IT cost by focusing on labor, both internal and external, which is our highest variable cost in the IT budget. And we were able to quickly analyze options and impacts due to the information that was at our fingertips because of TBM. In short, an IT strategy, detailed planning, and TBM allowed us to thrive during an unprecedented VUCA situation. So to bring all of this together, TBM has allowed us to support operational targets with data-based decision, new ways of working, and all while delivering near-term as well as long-term results. And the great news is, we've now shifted the company to a focus on post-COVID transformation and growth. Once again, TBM is steering our efforts as we make informed decisions to maximize our technology investment. In closing, there's nothing more important than the words of Thomas Edison as I think about the problems here. Good fortune is what happens when opportunity meets with planning. Ensure your plans include TBM and you will not only survive, but thrive, no matter the business situation. Thank you.